Hey guys, thanks for waiting for a few minutes while we're getting set up. I don't know if you've noticed, but we're just on the other side of the row of computers. We're just on with Will Be Fast 5 minutes ago. So I'm still First Squadron. I am joined again this week by Space Roll,
Hello.
who's the studio director, and Jay Hale, who's the lead designer on Endless
Hello.
Space 2. And we've decided, instead of just redoing a description and tell you guys about the Volters, you've probably heard about them. Some of you have played them, but last week you had a lot of questions. So we're like, you know what? Let's just chill out and have some fancy Q&A with the boss. Always a good time. So let's have it. You guys probably have a bunch of questions already. What time is it over there exactly? I think that's an easy one to start. It is 10 past 3, so we're barely late. Right on time by all standards. Yeah. When is the update going live? I already took that one a few minutes ago on the other stream. Basically, I think it's when the promotion ends. We should be about 3 hours from now, between 3 and 4 hours from now. Then we have a bunch of questions in Russian. I'm not sure I can actually. There is no way for me to understand what you guys are saying. So if you have a question that you'd like me to answer, please post it in English. Otherwise, oh yeah. Of course. First question, what are the plans? What's next?
So we do have plans, that's for sure. We are working on another DLC, we can say that, maybe. So yes, we have other plans. We have a lot of, actually we're planning to support a lot of stuff on Endless Space 2 because it's been very successful with you guys. You've been helping us quite a lot. We definitely want to keep supporting it with free content and and paid content as well. So a lot of things, it's in the planning, working because we're barely releasing, that, and actually it's been kind of the priority to get that one right. So I've been some of you have been playing it already. So as you know, we spent a lot of time on it. But yeah, we have some very good idea, some stuff that I think you will really enjoy on Endless Space 2, and yes, a lot of stuff to come.
And of course, Romain mentioned DLC, but that you guys know us by now. You know that when we release stuff that you can pay for, we also release free stuff
as well.
So free updates, free content are the norm, and well, for us at least. So look forward to that as well. Of course, Jay Hell is always here to hear your thoughts on balance and systems and everything. So don't hesitate to just keep us appraised of your ideas and what you guys would like to see next. Will the Endless Day content, the question, normally be available later, or is it just a hero? If I already unlocked the Endless Day. Do you get the quest again? No, the quest is only between the 21st and the 25th inclusive, so that is up to tonight. So now's the time to do the quest, and then once you unlock the hero, you keep the hero. Where are you guys streaming on your other channels? And notice program is running from 1 p.m. but it's 3. Yes, earlier we're actually Atto, who's now on the back end, was running a casual stream of Dungeon of the Endless. I'm sure it went really well. Do you want to give me a thumbs up if that went well? Yeah, it went really well. And then we had a brilliant run with Will Be Fast on Endless Legend just earlier with Volters. We didn't lose, mostly because if you don't click end turn at some point, well, you don't get attacked the turn after. So that was good.
I've seen a question about when the Volters come out. Will we have also a price reduction on Endless Space 2?
Are we allowed to talk about this? You're the boss. You should. You know better than me.
I don't think. I don't know. I think you'll be happy to know that Felicia will be supporting, the release of the Volters. It's the Endless Day as well, and usually on the Endless Day we do everything we can to promote our games, so you guys can, invite your friends to try your games and buy them hopefully.
And of course, something I'd like to point out for those of you who've joined us only with Endless Space 2 is that every time you unlock an expansion for a game, if you're the host of the game, you get to unlock it for all of your friends if they're playing with you for the duration of that game. So if Jay Hell here has the Volters and we'd like to try the Volters, he just has to host the game and all play together, and we can all play the Volters. And we think it's pretty cool. We think it's a very fair way of letting you guys try it out. Free of charge, and if you like it, you can get it.
So there is a question from Murad Kantiner. So are you I guess something about connecting all the games together that we do. And yes, we know we have this beautiful universe that we love, and we want to make sure that every game that we do, that we can still go and expand, discover more about the endless universe. So it is definitely the goal. Will we one day make it like Star Wars like universe? I don't know, but but definitely we want to make sure it's the best sci-fi and fantasy overall universe to live in, to have adventures in.
Someone was saying, can you explain what the Vultures update means? Well, basically, we had an update release with free content, and we have the Vultures expansion coming out today. So last week we also had another update coming out. Its name was something that escapes me right now.
The community challenge.
Yeah, community challenge. That's why. I was looking for something lore intensive.
So it was a reward for what the community asked, was it?
Yeah, the play to win challenge. You remember, when we had the free weekend, there were thresholds to unlock content, and actually you guys managed to get all the thresholds. So now they're in game.
Good. So it took us sometimes, so you have to realize that sometimes, you ask us to do something, you vote for it, but it obviously will take us, a few months to have it done, depending on the difficulty that, is being asked. So what do we call it? The Endless Day?
Well, the Endless Day, of course. Well, you're a better place to answer it, I guess.
Well, it's basically, we have created Amplitude 7 years ago on that day, or actually on the 21st of January. So every year we have a party. First it was just a party for us, Amplitude, where we're celebrating the 1 year, the 2 years, 3 years of Amplitude. And then we decided to invite some of our players. So then it became a beer together on what we started to call the Endless Day. And then we started to also have other people benefit from it and to make it a bigger event. And that's why I think for 3 or 4 years now it's just an event for everyone in the community. To celebrate the birth of Amplitude, because for us it is quite an achievement.
Yeah. Oh snap! That was a good question, but I missed it. I now forgot.
I forgot. So it was a really good question.
A funny one, of which I think I have the answer, is will we get a precise timeline of
the
Endless Universe? It's this one.
Do you want to take it?
Yeah, I think I can answer it. It's very short. It's Jeff, our narrative director. Probably, I don't think you will get it. Maybe François can tell you more about it, or Romain, but.
I mean, nobody wants to answer that question.
Yes, nobody wants to answer that question.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it's not that we don't want to. It's more like once you've set things in stone, it's a lot harder to remove them. Once you've said, okay, this is the canon story, well, it removes all other possibilities for canon. And one of the things we really like is that we know certain things happen before others. Like Dungeon of the Endless happened before Endless Space 2, happened before Endless Legend as well. But other things happened before Dungeon of the Endless. In the grand scheme of the Endless Universe, which is why we have certain order for things, but we don't want to really jot it down, because then that's when you start being precise with things. That's when you leave less room for what's next or the other things you could come up with, and that's when you can actually get some retcon errors. I think all Tolkien fans know that there is actually one elf that was called. Well, there were 2 elves called Glorfindel. Even though elves are immortal, so you have the same name as some other dude who's just living, a couple of kilometers away. That is messed up. We'd like to avoid that. Of course, we're not Tolkien, but as long as we have our own universe, we try to keep things tidy.
So Elijah was asking a question, and Horatius. So Horatius, yes, we're having the Endless Day here at Amplitude today. So we have a beer together today at Amplitude. So where quite a few people have been invited or asked us if they could come, and of course we said yes to the most people as we could. Then for Elijah, what was it how did we feel during the creation of Endless Space 2? How was it? So let me ask you the question first.
I would say, if I had to say one word, it would be awesome. And then let's be honest, it's also tricky. Game dev is always tricky.
So why?
Why is because one of the things I like the most is to actually work with the community, and it's something that we do really well here. I hope.
Well, we do spend a lot of time. Maybe we don't do it very well, but at least we do spend a lot of time with you guys.
We do try to, and so it's a real challenge to try to include the feedback from the community and with our vision, your vision for the game, and try to make it all fit together. And it's hard, but it's very interesting and very rewarding.
Yeah, and we often agree.
And thankfully, we often agree in the end.
Thank God.
We had a question from 11-Bit Studio on YouTube that was who were asking, when are we getting a physical The Art of the Endless Universe book. I think it's a pretty interesting question in that we've had questions for as long as Amplitude existed on physical merchandising, and actually we've always been interested in looking at it. So we'll have some maybe more news about this a bit later during the day. But as for the physical book itself, we already have art books. We're not done with the art we have in Endless Space 2, but we already have, of course, the Endless Legend and Dungeon of the Endless art book. And I'm being waved at. Hi. So you already, if you want some of the art, you can already get some of that in digital version. As for the physical,
But to be honest, we've been asked that quite a few times.
Yeah, exactly.
And the answer is we'd love to do it. Just we don't know how many people really are interested, and it's a bit of risk for us. How many should we print? We don't even know how to send it. It's a big logistic thing that we don't know how to handle very well. So now that we joined Sega, we hope that we have more people to help us understand that and probably be able to answer more positively to that request.
Maybe I can take the question of the Vodiani faction, because it has been asked sometimes already.
okay, Greffair, chill out now.
They're difficult.
We know they're difficult to play. Like actually, someone in the studio plays them very well, and they can be very, very powerful. But we know that they have some things that could be improved, like being dependent on the start and having more ways to create manpower. And this is something that we definitely want to work on. Yes.
Wow, a CD version of the Endless OSTs. Do people really do CDs still? I think when you want music, you either get like the cool formats, or you go for the old school stuff. Anyway, maybe more on that later. Let's skip the questions on physical and goodies and things. Keep them aside for later. At what time will it unlock? Well, we've covered that one, but let's just say it again for the people in the back. In about 3 hours from now, 3-4 hours from now, depending on things. So yeah.
So our time will unlock again should be around 6 p.m. European time.
I think it's 6 p.m. Yeah.
Normally usually it's around 6 p.m. So it should be that again. We'll see if we're right. So yeah, to go back on Vodiani, because others are saying that Albert can be saying that they are crazy strong. They are tricky. They're so different from the rest. They're really they could be too strong, too weak. So we're trying to find the right balance, and we definitely count on you guys to help us keep finding the right balance.
Oh, will we ever see other genres of games set in the Endless Universe? Don't we get that one out?
We've been asked quite a few times, if we would maybe make an RPG. We would love to do that. It just, if we were to make an RPG, we would love to have, all the means we need to make a great RPG, and could be quite expensive, take a lot of time. Today, it's not really where our expertise is. But working with some other people on that could be an idea, maybe us later. But yeah, we'd love to be able to create at least an RPG as another genre in that universe.
Someone is saying, Greffair again saying Endless Battle Royale. I think we just saw Battle Royale in Endless Legend just earlier, and that did not go well for us. So maybe just not that one. Will there be any more major faction DLCs in the future? Well, I think we've covered that as well. But again, if you're just joining us, we've of course got plans to keep on supporting Endless Space 2, and that will include, I think we can say that already, not only paid for but also free expansions and updates. So look forward to that. Of course, we're not announcing more than that for now, but yes, we're definitely still on board with Endless Space 2. Have you considered allowing players to abandon conquered systems? That's one for you.
Actually, you can already do it in the game. Like once you capture a system, you just need to get your ownership a little bit up, and then you can evacuate the system whenever you want. We are considering maybe adding an option in the future to give you a choice, but we'll see about that.
Someone is asking for an excuse not to see his family so he can play the Volters all weekend. Well, you could always say you're really sick, if you've got a stomach bug or something, none of them want to catch it. So I think that's your excuse. Go for that.
So it's funny because quite a few of you guys asked, about movies and stuff. So obviously it would be a dream for us, to see that. I think just like you know, but I guess we need to be contacted by the right people. But maybe if you ask a lot, who knows, may happen.
The Endless Vault game. Actually, on this subject, one of our VIPs, Cat and Nine Tails, you might know him, especially if you've been active during Endless Legend development, created a board game that is like a deck building game, sort of, for Dungeon of the Endless. And it's really crazy. Like, he sent us the prototype and everything, and we have it. And it's something that especially the Dungeon of the Endless team is really happy about. So if you, of course, we're always looking at, like, one of the ways I think we can say that we look at the ways we can create new games and everything is always prototyping with actual board games and pieces and things, and see how the system works, because it's easier to create something with like bits of paper and plastic than with codes. So yeah, we love board games. So of course, in Endless Board Game, we'd love one.
It's like, will it ever be possible to have the United Empire automatically switch to the military fleet scheme if you choose to become the majority in their quest? I know we discussed that quite a lot during the developments, and I think we just didn't have the time to work on that at the end. So it's funny because we've been discussing that, but it's not in the plan right now. Who knows? Maybe if we have time later. Have you guys? Or
that person wants a faction that has only one system, like the cultists.
Yeah, like the cultists.
It's something that always comes up when we start the design of a faction. Should we make a one monolith system faction? But we also have some other system that we really want to implement as well. They're competing with. It's competing also with other older factions that people would love to see again, like the Voters. But anyway, I'm fairly sure that it will be something we'll consider somewhere down the road. Should we do a cultist-like faction with one very small empire that can still dominate the universe?
So someone was saying, as someone who's not familiar with the Volters, what do you think is the most interesting aspect of their gameplay?
Okay, this is going to be a bit subjective, obviously.
Well,
but
you have the Volters to inspire you, if you like.
Well, the ships are awesome. Like,
okay. Not the gameplay; it's just the visual.
That's not the gameplay.
Cool.
That's true. But my favorite part of the Volters is the ability to teleport. Like, you can build portals, and you can instantly teleport between two systems which have a portal, and it does change the way you play them quite a lot, actually. And it opens up the door for fantastic strategies. Like, you could play an empire that is spread over all the galaxy and just attack people sneakily, and you can camouflage your fleets, which is also awesome.
I do like also the this colony shape that you have from the beginning. So I don't know if you guys have seen, but you can play the Arcozy. The Arcozy it's basically start with this, and it can when you colonize a system, you have it right away. It's a colony right away, and basically you just need to recharge it, and you can colonize the next system. It's fairly interesting way to play the colonization part of the game. Very different from the rest of the game. I quite like it.
Someone was saying, do you have any plans to improve on the political aspect of the game? It is true that I've seen actually, I think it was yesterday, someone was saying, your game is the 5X and the 5X is the politics, and I guess you write politic-X at the end, and that does work. It's just weird. So yeah, it's like a very different aspect to other games we've made before. What would you guys like to see to make it even better, if you had like any ballpark idea?
You want to start?
No, go ahead.
It's a tricky one. No, okay. It's true that it was really hard to get the politics right, how we envision it. What's difficult is, what does the population feel? How can you tell what they feel? How can you tell how you can interact with them? And then what kind of rights or superpower does it give it to you? Does it give you? So really, honestly, in many ways, I quite like how it is today, how it works. in the actual way to apply the laws to the game. Yet, what I would love to see improve is to better understand how your people behave, why they react in a certain way to your actions, to others' actions. We tried a few different things, and for me, it's somewhere we could make it clearer, so it's better to really understand, okay, I did this, they react like this, they want this, I will do this. So it's still things we need to keep improving. For someone asking espionage, for me actually, it's what about it? In a way, something also we could link somehow to the politics, just kind of the dark side of the politics, or the dark side also of the military side. It's something we'll want to see down the road. I mean, it's not planned at the moment, but it's always a tricky one, because when you work on such a big and complex game like Endless Space 2, or it was the same for Endless Legend, during the development, it's difficult to make espionage fit if you want to make it a really good system, because it could be quite big and quickly and touch all the areas of the game. So that's why often we wait for the game to be finished, so we can see, okay, now if we add espionage, how can we make it, a perfect system that really is linked to the rest of the game. So the game is getting more or less in that shape, but to be very honest, it's still not planned, but it's something we'll definitely want to look into as soon as we can.
Someone's asking for a leader skin for Horatio, changing his look to the Endless Space 1 with the makeup and everything. I think that's interesting, but if we went for skins for other factions, that'd probably be a bit different from just putting makeup on Horatio. I think especially he would be very touchy about people actually daring to change the way he looks.
Especially for the Horatios, the makeup does mean something. It's the only way for them to be different. So you can't fuck around with that.
Pardon of French. That's something we can totally say. So yeah. Wow. So someone was asking, are the Volters with the portals faster than the Wraithborn with the wormholes? I think they can be, because once they can improve so that it doesn't consume their movement points. So it depends where you're going really, because if the wormholes could link you to other systems that don't belong to you, whereas the wormholes the portals are only between your systems.
Yeah, the main advantage is that you choose where you place the portal, but the wormholes are placed on the galaxy by default. So
another question asking us about putting races from Endless Legend in Endless Space 2. We'll see. We'll see about that. Like, we already have one. No, they said other races.
Okay, other races.
I mean, obviously we don't say no, but I don't think we can.
So at first, when we started working on Endless Space 2, with Jeff, we had an agreement. Never will we bring any Endless Space factions to, Endless Legend factions to Endless Space. So we agreed on that, and because we thought it would be so cheesy and it would be hard to explain, and but very quickly we said, okay, except the Volters, because it would make sense. So okay, that works. If we find a good explanation, a good reason why, would be more than happy to see the Endless Legend factions, others, in Endless Space. But we will not try to force something that was really cool in Endless Legend and to bring into Endless Space if there is no sense to it.
Someone was saying, do the boarding parties work on the arcs?
Sort of. Like, you can actually deactivate the arc if you manage to take it with your boarding pods, but you will not obtain the arc for your empire, because
it's just a normal deactivation of the arcs.
Yes, exactly.
Someone again was we have a question from Le Gobelin on YouTube who's asking, why are the Vodiani women so hot? And actually two things here. One, they're not women per se, they're constructs in physical cloth. So basically they're trying to shape themselves. Like, if you could, basically they shape them, their bodies after the Endless, who they venerate. But so they try to take the shapes of the Endless, and so that's why they can basically choose the way their bodies look. And but also I think the important point was not actual women. They don't have bodies anymore. The Vodiani don't have bodies.
Not anymore.
Yeah, it makes me think of what's his name? The Good Place. I don't know if you guys have seen this series. There's like an AI robot, and she's super cool. And people forget she's a robot all the time. So she's correcting them like, not an actual person. No, I'm not a woman. So yeah, the Vodiani, not women. Question: do you think he? Wait, the grammar is all over the place. I think you had the ability to choose which spaceship you want in class-based faction creation to have original fleets.
No,
you mean like a
mix and match?
Yeah, mix and match the ships from different factions. Wow, that sounds very complicated to actually implement.
Not planned for now. I'm not sure we'll go there.
Okay. So linked to a previous question, are Endless Space 1 and 2 in the same time flux / canon? Actually, I think we rebooted Endless Space 1.
Yeah,
like
it's a reboot.
reboots.
It's a reboot. You know, again, I will say something stupid like, you know, if we did Endless Space 3, you know, which we not planned, we never discussed that, but if we were to do that one day, we'll probably again be a reboot. Because we arrive at the end of Endless Space 1 or Endless Space 2 with such big, you know, weapons and ships and powers that what can you do after, really? So you know, it's not really difficult with us to add, you know, meaningful content with the, you know, DLCs and free add-ons and stuff during, you know, the course of Endless Space 2. That, you know, there's no room to create a full game after that. The same for Endless Space 1. So it's more or less a reboot, and it, you know, doing reboot allows us to revisit, you know, the games, the lore, the factions, to go deeper each time when we look at the game.
Someone's asking, wow, that might be a tricky one. The quest that was created via the Games Together for Oddbot, well, it was selected, I think, among all the origin stories for Oddbot, still in the works. Do you know about this one?
We'll have to check with Jeff.
Yeah, that's more of a question for Jeff, I guess. Do you have plan to add custom ship to each faction some points as DLC? I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I think it's like a proper, like different ships per faction as a DLC, but I don't think this is planned at the moment. Like.
Okay. I think we've been asked to wrap up.
Okay, well, yeah.
That was discreet.
No, certain terms like
too discreet.
All right, we're gonna take just one last question. How good are the Vulture ships compared to the other factions? And that's gonna be the one we're gonna be ending on.
They're pretty good. They're very bulky. They defend very well. They're quite balanced in their slots. And
why were they not moving? I don't know.
They're on the strong side, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, they're mostly defensive, I think.
Yes.
Okay, great. Excellent. Well, that was the last question we're going to be taking for now. Thanks again for joining us. If you have a question that hasn't found an answer, do not hesitate to add us on Facebook or Twitter or on the forums, and we'll be glad to answer it. Or if you're in Paris and you've actually registered to come to the Beer Together tonight, don't hesitate to ask it in person, and we'll be happy to provide an answer.
So 7 p.m., right?
Yeah, that is 7 p.m. tonight. Again, thanks for joining us. I was Fork Squadron, J-Hell, Space Roll, and see you guys. We've got something special after that. You might go for a break, grab a drink, and go for a cigarette or something. That's
5 minutes?
5 minutes. 5 minutes. All right, see you guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.